Heider Ackermann time for it. Oh my God. When it comes down to Miu Prada, I think that she is obviously a genius in what she does. And even if people don't understand it in the moment, I think years down the line, 10, 20 years down the line, when people are studying fashion, kids are studying fashion, they're going to look back to this collection and see it in a different light than we are seeing it now. And yes, I love Duran Lantink for Jean Paul Gaultier, but I feel like after Jean Paul Gaultier, he should go ahead and go to Balenciaga, baby. So yeah. It's my anxiety, yeah. Ooh, yeah. Say hi, Dasha. What's up, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is your girl, Sierra. Hey, yeah. And in case you don't know already, it is it worth it Wednesdays. But yes, you guys, we are back with episode 3. In case this is your first episode watching, is it worth it? No worries. These are not in any type of chronological order. Each episode is different. Each episode I'm talking about different designers, different looks. And actually in today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I wanted to be reflective of the times that we're in right now in terms of like fashion, because we are currently, I think, in Paris Fashion Week. So a lot of designers are showing, a lot of exciting things are happening. So basically I'll be incorporating present day looks while keeping in mind the whole concept of this video, which is it worth it? Okay, so let's hop right into it. Y'all know what I mean as we hop right into it. This is not necessarily the first designer or first collection that caught my eye. However, Veronique Leroy was at the top of my little Vogue collections list. And Veronique was born actually in Belgium. She left Belgium when she was 19 years old to study in France. And then after she graduated from fashion school, she actually worked under Azadine Alaya. And there she learned to understand the three-dimensional body, developed her architectural sense of the garment construction, as well as her own style. And then after working with Alaya, she moved on to work side by side with Martine Sitbon. And Veronique as a designer is known to play on contrast, the confrontation between delicate and strong shapes, washed out in bright colors, and simplicity and ultimate level of sophistication is adjectives that comes to mind, or words that comes to mind when you think of Veronique. And I was watching a couple of her interviews and like past shows, and one of the models was saying that, oh, her pieces feel simple yet still special. And actually her makeup artist, Alex, I can't remember her last name, but I'll obviously insert it, but I love the way she broke down even like how she came up with like the makeup looks for the collections and how she was able to describe the Veronique woman for that specific collection. So I'll leave those interviews linked down below in case you want to check them out. But obviously what caught my eye was Veronique Leroy's Fall 2025 collection. And this was actually her first collection since COVID-19. So I'm pretty sure a lot of her fans were happy to have her back. And also with this collection, you see distortion of silhouettes, which again is one of Veronique's signatures. One of my favorite things though was definitely like the jewelry. I love the huge bangle on the arm. I also like how they styled the jewelry. This look in particular, like I love the fact that the model is wearing literally no earrings, no necklace, no rings. It's just the big freaking bangle, because that is the statement. Had they put a ring or an earring or a necklace, to me, it just would have threw the look off entirely. It would have went from chic to tacky and like just like that. But the first couple of looks, especially like the leotard with like the thick rolled collar and the thick cuffs on the wrist, I absolutely love this look. I think that it's super wearable. I think that it's super timeless as well for a Veronique piece. Different, something different, yet still simple, yet still wearable. I get that from this look in particular. And I think that this look too can work for like multiple occasions. This little leotard right here is definitely worth it, okay? Because it looks like it's in like a merino wool or like a cotton tulle, or a super wearable fabric at that, a fabric that's gonna age well. So I would say, yeah, this one is worth it. For sure, for sure. All right, next we're gonna get into Miu Miu Fall 2025 collection, which I believe aired yesterday if I'm not mistaken. But quite beautiful. Definitely a collection that speaks to your girl, considering that I am a pragmatic girly through and through. I'm all about the less is more. I'm all about, if you're gonna do color, let it just be a trouser or a little sweater, you know, or some type of little knit. And definitely you get all of those feels with this Miu Miu collection. So right, follow me with your Miu. As always, I feel like Miu never ever disappoints. When it comes down to Miu Prada, I think that she is obviously a genius in what she does. And even if people don't understand it in the moment, I think years down the line, 10, 20 years down the line, when people are studying fashion, kids are studying fashion, they're gonna look back to this collection and see it in a different light than we are seeing it now. This collection featured typical accessories of femininity, the bra, the brooches, the fur, and ultimately this collection was said to feature just plain clothes. A line from Miu Prada's press release is, "This season we really wanted to create elegance with nothing. The pieces were everyday and it featured direct manipulation of simple pieces. You saw skewed vintage clothes, 40s and 50s inspo." Definitely when I saw it, especially seeing how the model's hair was styled, it immediately took me back to, come on, I just had it in my freaking head, The Wife and Mad Men. Like, it immediately took me to that era or to that show. And some of the pieces that I felt like was definitely worth it from this collection was, firstly, this coat. Obviously, we have all seen like a double-breasted wool coat. If you are big on thrifting, you've definitely probably come across a style like this at a thrift store. However, I do really appreciate her modern approach when it came down to the wool coat. I don't know if you guys can see, but the back has like this skirt-like tail. And also just like obviously gives it a beautiful flow with the way that it's constructed. And also too, I love like the broad shoulders. For those reasons alone, I would say that this coat is a piece that is worth it from this collection, considering how timeless it is. Again, double-breasted silhouettes is a silhouette that's been around for ages. And also too, can just be a nice piece that I feel like most people can make work in their wardrobe, considering how classic it is. And then also the bags, I thought that the bags were quite stunning. However, I'm not a huge fan of like logos. I kind of wish that they didn't put the Miu Miu dead smack in the middle of this bag. I would have preferred it maybe on like the side or something a little bit more subtle. But obviously Miu Miu, people love Miu Miu. Miu Miu at this point, at this time, is a household name. So it's not the worst logo that can be on an item, I guess, but I just remember this old man telling me like he don't wear logos unless they pay him to wear logos. And I'm like, I feel that 100%. My name ain't Miu Miu, so I just feel like I don't want to wear, yeah, personally. But I do think that the bag and the way that it's constructed, I do love like the crackled leather finish. I think that, you know, it's a very functional bag to use, considering that it's just like flapped over. It looks like it's easy to like get into. It's a nice shape, nice size. So I think that it can fit obviously the essentials plus more. And then something that I didn't find to be quite worth it from this collection is the coats. Now, don't get me wrong. The leather coats, the suede coats are definitely beautiful. You can see the quality of the leather just even through the photo. It did say in the notes, however, that these coats were inspired by like vintage coats, which you can totally see the fact that they're like kind of even worn in like a vintage coat would be. And with that being said, I would say get the vintage one for literally a quarter of the price. Because when it comes down to Miu Prada, obviously you're gonna pay that Prada price tag. So considering that these coats are literally inspired by vintage ones, I would say just go to your local thrift store. Obviously on your first try, second try, even third try, you probably won't come across one as beautiful as this, but I do feel like they're out there. I don't feel like I know for a fact that they're out there. I feel like coats like these are especially easy to find in like Chicago thrift stores or maybe like Texas thrift stores. One that someone had like 20 or 30 years ago that's authentically worn in, you know, and it's gonna look even better. So I'm for thrift the coats, baby. Thrift the coats from this collection. I love what Miu Prada wore at the end, okay? Like, She is a woman that just gets it on just so many different levels, and anything that she says in any interview, I clamor to. Like, I think her last interview, she was like, you need to read more, you know, look at more art. I'm like, okay, ma'am. Whatever you say, sis. Whatever you say, ma'am, because I think the goal is to be as chic as Gucci Prada. All right, next up on Is It Worth It? It's gonna be, I'm so corny. It's gonna be Duran Lantink. And Duran Lantink is definitely a designer that I was not in the know about. I've just discovered him, I want to say, within these past like 3 or 4 days. However, his last collection, okay, like I saw it and I was like, this is kind of what I expected from a Balenciaga. Also, the first thing that I thought of too was like, this reminds me of like Shane Oliver and Jean Paul Gaultier, which is so crazy because it is going around that he is now named the creative director of Jean Paul Gaultier, which it just seems like the perfect fit for him. He is a Amsterdam-born designer. He has a studio in Amsterdam, and his collection is 100% made from dead stock fabrics. So he uses fabrics from like Louis Vuitton. I think he did for like his very first collection, Calvin Klein, Raf Simons. Like any dead stock from any collections I believe he uses. He has said in multiple of his interviews that he does not like all of the waste that happens in fashion. So I think that that is obviously beautiful, that he is all about that sustainability aspect. And when I saw his most recent collection, his fall 2025 collection, what is still stamped in my mind is the backless freaking jeans. And I want to say that silhouette, I feel like Balenciaga or Vetements has done. Comment down below if you know, but I've definitely seen like this double layered denim situation before. But the backless little booty, I just love it. The cheekiness of it, literally. And also like the latex torso, I think that is so freaking sick and is like art. Maybe it's a play on like genderism in society right now. At the end too, he had like a male model wearing like a boobed latex type of a top. And it was just like the way the model was walking down too was just like bopping them boobs, baby. So I just like love the irony in that. And also too, it was saying that that's a moment that maybe he did so that it can go viral and obviously bring more, you know, people to his name. I think that too, considering that he is all about using recycled or like dead stock fabrics, although his pieces are like super out there and super like artistic, you may not feel like you are totally wasting your money buying his pieces considering where they were derived from, if that makes sense. You can look at Duran Lantink collections, this collection, his past collections, and just see that he is carving out his own space in fashion. And again, it just makes all the sense that he's going to step into Jean Paul Gaultier as a creative director, especially considering that Shane Oliver, I believe, is the designer that just left, and what he was producing, like, it's a really smooth pivot to go with Duran. So, and yes, I love Duran Lantink for Jean Paul Gaultier, but I feel like after Jean Paul Gaultier, he should go ahead and go to Balenciaga, baby. Okay, last but not least, I definitely wanted to talk about Haider Ackermann at Tom freaking Ford, which is a match made in heaven. And Tom Ford actually appointed Haider Ackermann specifically by hand, okay? Right before Haider Ackermann stepped into this role though, Peter Hawkins was the creative director at Tom Ford. And he actually had been working at Tom Ford for like 2 decades. And I guess Tom Ford may have thought that it was the perfect pivot when he left in 2023. However, it wasn't it. Respectfully, okay? Respectfully, I am not a designer. These are only my opinions, obviously. So I feel like, how dare I, you know, critique this man's work. But however, Haider Ackermann, Tom Ford, oh my God. Okay, first off, if you don't know, Haider Ackermann is a Colombian designer, but he was adopted, I believe, by French parents. So he is considered like a French designer. And Haider Ackermann is best known for his dynamic layered tailoring and has been compared to Yves Saint Laurent. And I actually have a video talking about Haider Ackermann that I will leave down in the cards in case you guys want to check it out, because I don't even remember what I was saying, but I do remember I was doing a lot of research for that video. Also, too, something to note about Haider Ackermann is Tilda Swinton is his muse. I think they're like best freaking friends. So personally, when I saw the Tom Ford Haider Ackermann, I was like, oh my God, I literally cannot wait to see Tilda Swinton in every look. Like, it just looked like each piece was made for her specifically. Down to like the suiting, the dresses. I think he had like this one green backless dress that I'm just like, oh my God, it's so freaking stunning. And one of the things that I think Haider Ackermann wanted you to take away from this collection is sensualness. It was said that he didn't want to use the term like sexy. He just wanted you to remember sensual. He said, I think he was quoted saying that he hopes you feel seduced after viewing the collection. And definitely, obviously, Tom Ford loved the collection as well. I think he got really emotional at the end when him and Haider Ackermann like hugged. I thought it was just so beautiful and just heartwarming. When you see the Haider Ackermann Tom Ford, you definitely are thinking of the Tom Ford as well, because I think that like you get that whole like sleekness. He definitely played off of like the Tom Ford really sleek trim silhouettes while implementing the Haider Ackermann like tones, I want to say. Like, and I thought it was just the perfect fit, Haider Ackermann at Tom Ford, because when you saw the collection, yes, you thought this is fresh, this is new, but you also felt like still connected to the Tom Ford, because you can definitely see the inspirations when it came down to like the cuts and just how slim everything was. It just made you think of Tom Ford, and also Tom Ford Gucci, baby. It was just sensual. I don't want to say sexy because I'm not trying to offend Haider Ackermann, but sensual is definitely what you got. Even the way the models were just walking and sashaying down the runway, it definitely gave this sensuous vibe. Even like the sexy or sensual looks were just like not on the nose. Like, I just love like the leather little top, for instance. It was just ever so slightly cropped. The leather skirt with the model like covering up, you know, her arms. Like, I just feel like that little detail just showed that this look is not all about the little crevice of skin that you see. Like, she still wants to maintain some obscurity. And then this look right here was just the most Haider Ackermann look of them all, or Haider Ackermann touches. The mohair freaking jacket with like the crisscrossed little pin detail. And I definitely feel like you've seen this type of silhouette on Haider Ackermann's runways. And this little leather t-shirt is so simple yet so beautiful, and I feel like it can just be styled in just so many different ways. You can wear it with like a little trouser, a little jean. Like, it's gonna be an arm and a leg, we all know, because it's Tom Ford. But if you get it like that, I would say it's worth it. I would say it's worth it. You could literally wear it in all freaking seasons. And because it's just so simple in the way that it's designed, timeless, baby, timeless. And I've been hearing mixed reviews when it comes down to Haider Ackermann's first collection at Tom Ford. But for the most part, personally, I think that it was nothing shy, nothing less of amazing. And even if you didn't like it, you can appreciate it and understand that it was definitely a step up from Peter Hawking's Tom Ford collections, and therefore probably excited about what's to come. Because to start off this freaking fire, I mean, he's definitely set the bar so high for himself, but Haider Ackermann is definitely top when it comes down to designers, and, you know, designers that's design for real, you know. And so yeah, I want to say everything was like worth it from this video. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this Is It Worth It episode. As you guys may see, in case you have seen my previous episodes, this one was a little bit different. But let me know what you guys think about this concept versus the other Is It Worth It videos. Like, do you prefer me talking about what's going on in fashion like literally right now? Because in the past ones, I'm literally just going on Farfetch or like Essence and just seeing like what they're having on their new arrivals, which I also feel like you guys have been finding useful. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on what's happening in fashion right now. Hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you in my next one. Peace.